I mean, hell, I think I had a dream of like opening a bar or a restaurant when I was like 25. I think like everyone has that dream, you know, and so many fail. But I think that happens with trading a lot because people just have these unrealistic expectations of what it takes. Yeah. And if you got 1 or 2 green months and you're ditching that job, oh man, come on. So.
Or the have to, like what I hear from some new traders are like, I have to make this work. This has to replace the XYZ job that's terrible. And I'm like, as soon as you're in the landscape of have to, you're already burdening your cognitive ability to, this is already so hard. And now you're putting extra pressure on yourself. How can that help your trading? It's gonna hurt it.
Welcome back to the SteadyTrade podcast, everyone. Back here with Kim and Steven talking about, it feels like this has been a little bit of a recurring episode here the last 6 months. But every time we do like this quote unquote state of the market discussion, we talk about, oh, it's the wildest thing, and I'll talk about my 15 years. Steven will talk about his 4 years. And then it's like a month later, and it gets wilder, and there's more moves, more stocks. I mean, I think about yesterday. Yesterday morning was kind of the 1 day pause in the EV sector. We'll see where we go here post Thanksgiving. But like yesterday morning, there was like 25 EV stocks gapping up, all of them at all-time highs. Tesla was at all-time highs. It was just like I got to the point where it's like I cannot manage this. I don't even know what to do right now.
What's today's date?
Today's the 25th, November 25th. November 24th was the day that the EV sector kind of finally crashed into the rails for, we'll see, in my opinion, a couple days. Okay, we get past Thanksgiving, we'll see what happens. But anyway, it all kind of stopped yesterday. But up until then, multi-day, multi-week, multi-month moves out of these stocks. And it's just what we're going to talk about today is I think this is the new normal. We'll kind of see what everybody else thinks and how to trade this. And and an interesting thing though, I know Steven and I constantly have these debates about long versus short, but the simple fact is, if you know what you're doing, if you can be patient, yesterday was the day, quote unquote, everybody, of course, I always like to joke about the guys that knew not to short for 30 straight days, but they knew yesterday was the day, but we'll talk about that another time. But yesterday, I mean, everyone cleaned up on the short side because it was that first red day and everything after the open dropped and nothing upticked. I mean, they all closed on the low of the day. Most of them gapped down today. So it was like the perfect day. So welcome back, Kim. Welcome back, Steven. I think I kept in the standard Bohen fashion, I try and keep the introduction under 75 minutes. I think I got it in at 74 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. So
good to be here. Aloha, Steven.
Yeah, hello there. I mean, I just want to pick up, like, I've seen like we've been at this for 4 years, right? I've seen one hot sector run. I've seen like 2 hot sectors run, but this was just the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life, because EV was the longest and potentially still is the longest. I mean, I know weed back in the day ran, but EV was running for a really long time. And then somewhere 2/3 into the EV sector, we started having Bitcoin hitting 52-week highs. And I'm just thinking, what the hell is going on? We've got EV running, and then we've got Bitcoin in the
and the Dow. I mean, oddly enough, I talk about the Dow, or I talk about all the EV. And when we say EV, for everyone, most of you probably know we're talking electric vehicles. That's the shortcut. But the Dow hit 30,000 yesterday too. So it's like you got Bitcoin at 20 grand, you got the Dow at 30K, and then you got 35 EV stocks that are all at 52-week highs, all-time highs. Yeah, it's wild. So,
but like, I'm looking at NIO, right? And I'm saying like NIO, Chinese, good business model. It's got that replacement battery theory going on, which is different to Tesla, which is cool, right? It's not like a fake Tesla like Nikola became. And I'm like, NIO is going higher and higher and higher. Nothing can ignite the EV sector more. And then Tesla goes on the S&P 500, and I'm just like, oh my God. I'm just like, oh my God, what is going on? And then Bitcoin never was meant to come back, pushes through 52-week, pushes through all-time highs. And I'm like, oh my God. And then DPW, which is kind of a different sector for me. It's like a parts manufacturing shipping kind of sector.
Well, remember DPW is super sketch. Remember
it's sketch.
They were one of the crypto runners 4 years ago because they put a Superman logo on their power supply and were like, hey, we're crypto. And they ran back then. Then they pivot to EV again. So
but then DPW ran huge just because it hops on whatever's hot. And then MDGS, was it MDGS? No, OPTT. These sketchy of all sketch stocks. And I mean, I remember Tim Grottati put out a tweet on the night before the EV sector crashed, just being like, look, there's so much to do. I don't even know what to trade in. And I was on Pro and with you in the morning, there was too much to trade. You didn't know what to do. And I was like, look, I can only trade 4 stocks with size. I've got BLNK, I've got like SOLO, I've got OPTT, and I've got, what is it? DWP, is it? I forgot the name. DPW, yeah. So outrageous market.
So Kim, like, again, like from a civilian standpoint, I mean, now again, obviously you're in the trading world. That's what you do every day, but you're not, I kind of think of you more like a general back at headquarters.
It's true.
You're not one of the grunts like Steven and I. We're down in the trenches, with bullets.
You're in the foxholes.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm
in the air conditioned but you call it lair, looking out over the troops. Are they okay? Do they have enough water?
Producer, cue up one of my favorite songs of all time, Black Sabbath, War Pigs. So Kim is the war pig back in the air conditioned office, sending me and Steven out to die.
We don't die because we're strong mofos. We don't die.
I'm sending you guys out to die. You guys have all volunteered for this service. I'm here like,
she sounds just, man, you sound just like the politicians sending them off to war. Oh, these boys all signed, they have volunteered, They all wanted this. Their blood is not in my hands.
There are times when traders actually think I'm talking them out of trading because I'm telling them to be so careful about the danger of the front line. And they're like, but you're supposed to help me be a trader. I'm like, sometimes we have to step away. So I'm not pushing you guys to that.
But like in your world, because like for me, and I don't think I've told this story on the podcast. Everyone knew, around my community. I coached youth sports. I had a small business. I mean, air quotes, everybody knew me. Okay. Yeah. But everyone kind of knew I day traded, but I never got asked about it. 2020. I mean, I got 14-year-old kids that are like, hey, I heard you day trade, and it's just, it's wild how it's so much more out there, in my opinion. Now, do you see the same thing or not?
Absolutely. I have everybody from my housekeeper to people that I meet just when they see my sign, the Wall Street Coach, outside my office. And they're like, hey, do you think you could teach me how to day trade? I was like, I have some people who can, but I also don't get the sense that you have ever opened a newspaper like the Wall Street Journal in your life. And I'm thinking you might want to investigate a couple of books. And even there's another woman that reached out to me the other day. She's a trader, and her 17-year-old son is starting to get into trading, and she wants to know what books to start him on. So here's a woman who's trading, who probably never would have done this before a few years ago, and her 17-year-old is going down this path, which I kind of love, because that tells me, like, if the young kids have somebody who really understands what it's about, how to manage their expectations. But yeah, it's all over the place. And that also gets me a little nervous because...
Well, and that, and Stephen, I want you to answer the same question, but like Kim, for me, like the dot-com boom, that's when my business was in full startup mode. So
Yeah.
I mean, we were legit working, 12, 14, 16 hours a day. I remember I've always had an interest in the stock market,
Yeah.
but I just didn't have time to really pay attention in 99, 2000. Now, where were you, 99, 2000? Were you around it or what were you doing?
Are you asking Steven?
No, you.
Oh, you're
I was gonna
asking
say
me? I'm
I was
sorry.
like
Yeah.
I was like 7
Yeah.
years old. So
Yeah.
I was
Steven was in the same room he's in right now.
actually
In
it was the irony.
Oh my God. I had just started working in finance. I just got hired by a community bankers trade association of New York State. So
Now, the reason I asked
started.
that question,
Yeah.
was it like this? I mean, was it like now obviously you were in New York, but was it, I mean, were 14-year-olds, 17-year-olds talking about trading or not?
I don't know that I was experiencing those questions or seeing those questions,
Fair
but
enough.
I specifically chose to go into finance because I felt that's where the money was.
Okay.
So it was even inspiring me. Of course, Jim Rogers' book, The Investment Biker, but and Liar's Poker, those both had come out. Didn't they come out about that time? Maybe a little before. Before.
90s-ish.
5 years,
probably.
90s, late 90s, right? And I remember thinking to myself, okay, where is the money? Where can I really make the most money? So even that I went for that opportunity, because I had 2 opportunities to choose from. And I was like, you know what? I think the finance world is the place to go. And this was, I was so naive and so really didn't know, but that I had that sense that that's where the money was. And that's where I was going to be able to potentially create a different future for myself. That says to me, I must have been picking up on it,
Now, Steven, are you seeing the same thing? I mean, are people just like, and I mean, obviously I know people aren't just walking up to you on the street, but like people you knew from in the past, friends. I mean, to me, it's like everyone's talking about day trading for me.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's obviously
You
everywhere.
guys do have computers in England, right?
Nah, like.
Do you guys have internet over there?
I'm talking to you, Howie.
Fair enough.
Nah, but I mean, I would say that no one in maybe Newcastle that I personally know is talking about it because it's the American markets, right? The American markets are on fire. The British markets, I don't even know. I don't even pay attention. But it's all in America. So for me, it's not really, nah. But there's a boom on the internet, right? I see a boom on the internet. I see getting hit up by people all the time. So,
well, it's the phones too. I mean, think about the technology of our phones just in the last 20 years. I feel like that access, those apps all give people the opportunity instead of playing the damn games, which I've never related to on your phone. People are like, how about instead I play another kind of game? It's just, it's not a game, but they can make
so before
more.
we move on, I mean, you kind of started down that path, and I'll ask both of you. I mean, now I know, Steven, your experience is a little bit different, but I mean, I think it's a good thing. I love it. Now, again, I've been around. I know, again, I've been doing this for 15 years. I know what, I know my setups. I know what to trade. You're never done as a trader. But to me, I always like the more newbies out there, the better. So now I don't want anybody to fail. I want everyone to do well. But at the end of the day, the more newbies, the better. Now you started to say it worried you a little bit, but.
Well, it worries me just because when, heck, I remember the story you tell all the time, Tim, that when you were on that business trip and everybody was talking about Bitcoin, you were like, okay, this is a little silly now.
It's all the way back, though. It's all the way back.
It's true. This is true, but it did take a little while to get there. So I think it's just that sense of, whenever if there is a feeling of a bubble, not in the market per se, although possibly there too, but there's this bubble of like, if everybody who has never done this finance even concept before, never even read a book, never even understood the concept of risk, if they're all plowing in, potentially there's a lot of people that are going to get burned. and then what? You know, I don't know. Maybe there'll be people to replace them, but like how many can be replaced till there's not that many players? I don't know. Just
what do you think, Steven?
No, like I think this has been going on for hundreds of years, and for
You think
hundreds
so?
of years, people have been losing and then learning. I mean, it's maybe happening on a slightly bigger scale right now that more people are trying and losing. But I mean, look, people will lose money sports betting, people will lose money in casinos, people will lose money on gambling on small businesses.
Yeah.
Look, everyone's gonna have some money at some point and try and make it, and if more experienced traders, and right now I'm doing all right, and obviously Tim and the guys have done for years, like right now we're doing a good job, and I'm taking some of that money, but I really believe that in the years in the future, the ones that deserve to make it and the ones that put the work in, maybe we'll take some of their money now, but we'll be giving them a helping hand, because the ones that survive and that last the longest, we all the veteran traders all give them a helping hand and pull them up and be like, wow, you've been in this game a while. You're starting to show some signs of promise. Like, I remember as soon as I got profitable, I was getting top traders starting to hit us up, being like, oh, well done. I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that.
Nice.
And when I started getting more and more profitable, I started having even more traders again, being like, oh, did you see this that I traded? Did you see that? I took it like this. How did you take it?
Nice.
So when people show promise, the top traders pull them up.
Beautiful.
So it's more like, there's so many bad people that you've got to distinguish yourself a little bit before you get that hand.
Yeah.
But does that make sense though? Like, you will give your money as tuition, but then you'll get the hand up from those who took it. So it's kind of a full circle.
Yeah. But I want to turn the question back on you, Tim. What do you feel about this and these people every time Dick and Harry piling in? What's your
Again, I think it's great because, you know, well, number one, I think if you're listening to this podcast, you're in very few. Okay. If you're listening to this, it's because you want to learn this niche. Now, again, there's going to be, like Steven said, I mean, people, I mean, listen, you want to talk about get rich quick mentality. I get like 10 imposters on Instagram a week and people send them money. Okay.
I know.
You know,
there was one that was 14,000 followers. That was fraudulent of yours that I reported last week.
Yep.
Crazy.
So, because what they did, well, number one, I want everybody to know whether, and Steven's probably had fakers too. I mean, if there's ever an account that asks you to like trade their money, it's a scam, report it. But just so to educate you, Kim, what they do is they just follow everybody.
Yep.
Follow, and then people follow them back, and then that's how they build up their follower count, and then that's how they look legitimate, because people are like, "Oh,
that was more likable than you."
Exactly. Yep. They're probably
totally.
They're nicer. Yeah.
No, this fraud account is using the same things you're using, and that's how I'm finding them. They're connecting to me, and I see the extra O or the even Matthew. Like there's little signs that tells me, okay, this is not legit, and I must spend half my time on Twitter blocking and reporting for you and for a bunch of other people in the circle. So anyway.
Yeah, I tell you, it's not to get too off topic, but it bums me out because, geez, I think there was one guy that sent like $45,000 to one of these scammers.
God.
And I mean, he's hitting me, and like, how do I get this back? And I'm like, I can't help you, bro. I mean, they're in China or wherever they are. It's like
professional
it
scamming company.
screws it messes me up for days, man. It bums me out. But anyway,
I bet it does.
Back to the newbies. My point is there's always going to be that get rich quick mentality.
Yeah.
But what excites me about right now is the access to information, whether it be this podcast, there's a bunch of podcasts, Be the Story, chat with traders. I mean, none of this stuff existed 20 years ago, and in the .com boom. I just like, if you were, maybe some listeners were out there, were trading some of these things back then. I mean, what were your tools? Yahoo Finance. I mean, that was about it, and you didn't have the podcast, you didn't have the YouTube videos, you didn't have all these resources. So that's why I think it's sustainable, and that's why I think it's different than the .com boom, where everyone air quotes, everyone got destroyed, but because just the access to information is so much different, you know. So
and also what you said, remember what you said about Portnoy, that once he left gambling and started to do the market, he was never going to go back. And I think that is probably going to be the case. I almost wonder if you're correct that it is sustainable, then probably all those gamers, not all the gamers, but some of the gamers, some of the gambling pros, they're gonna stay here because they're like, oh, this is actually maybe more profitable.
Well, like Stephen, for you, I mean, trading's more interesting than poker, isn't it?
I loved poker. I loved the social elements of poker, but there's many drawdowns. There's too much luck in poker, and there's too many skilled players. And often with poker, there's like 8 people on a table who are good, and you look for the one fish. Where with trading, there's tons of fish.
There you go.
Tons of people who are rubbish at it. So I mean, I used to love poker, and my dream was that I hoped that I could love trading. And now, as times have turned, and I've made more money from trading, I've like seriously become like, it's like a total love.
Yeah. To me, I've got a million hobbies, but there's nothing as interesting as finance and trading. I mean, it's like there's a reason I do 5 live streams a day. I just love. Exactly. I love talking it. I mean, there's always something new. It's always changing, it's like, nothing is as interesting as in my opinion, short-term trading, day and swing trading, and just finance in general. I mean, it's where all the action is.
For sure.
What are you gonna, listen, if you love quilting, like I love building cabinets, okay? Right. Building cabinets is one of my hobbies. But there isn't that much new in cabinet building, okay? Exactly. It's kind of been the same thing for 500 years. I mean, there might be some new tool, but at the end of the day, it's kind of the same.
Yeah.
Every day, every day there's something new.
But trading, you never know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Trading, you never know what's going to happen. So like, look, at the end of the day, we're watching candles, green and red, go up and down, right? That's it. That's what we're doing. But it's just the excitement of like, is the world going to change? Yeah. Are we going to see something we've never seen before? Am I going to make some money today? Like, am I going to lose? Yeah. I don't know how to explain it.
Being plugged into every, hot sector and understanding what's happening in the world globally. I think it's pretty hard to top. It's the ultimate soap opera. It's the ultimate soap opera.
But it's the competition though. Like, honestly, the day before the EV sector fell, shorts got blown up to hell. And like when I didn't blow up, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so proud that I've like had the discipline.
That's so great.
To not fall. There's a good analogy I've just remembered. You reminded me of it, Kim. Tim will like it. Shorting the front side of a move is like being on the front line of a war.
Yep.
You're going to get murdered on the way up. And you just used as the weak cavalry before the A team of the shorts come in and pound that down and pound the enemy. The front line is like the front side. I didn't get as good a reaction as I wanted.
No, I love it. I was just thinking of, I was just visualizing the terrible tactics of the British Army, trying to take on the badasses of the American guerrilla warfare, and you just march out the bodies, man, and you'd let them get mowed down. That was your guys' strategy.
Oh my God, you're too funny. You're too funny. All right, so we have
Stephen. You remember that?
Giving your country back vaguely. Like we'll give the rest of the world their countries back vaguely. Yeah.
All right, so we have a question, guys, from Ivan that we're going to answer because he wants to understand how to, prepare financially for himself when he can potentially quit his day job. Trading full time.
I remember this. Yeah.
You want to speak to it first, Stephen?
No, I'm just saying I remember. You can read out the question though.
Okay, I'll read out the question. So he says, when I need to know when we can quit our day jobs and start trading full time financially. For example, Stephen's story. Can I have some exact numbers about monthly, quarterly expenses and income, etc.?
Living at home is pretty cheap, so my parents cook me food. No, but in all reality, I'll not give you the exact numbers because I get worried about talking about money and stuff and what people think about it and how they perceive it. But yeah, like I was in credit card debt when I started trading, like 30K, like $30,000 of credit card debt. I was a mess. But so I got to myself over like 4 or 5 years where I had more than $50,000 in the bank. So I thought, all right, I've got more than 50K in the bank. And I was making like $10,000, $15,000 months at best, and at worst, I was having like the odd $1,000 red month. So like this year, I'll clear like 60K this year. Probably I'm on like 56,000. So I'd say Tim Sykes said it to me, and I live by it. The advice he gave to me is don't quit your job until you've made at least 50 grand in the market. And I would add on top and make sure you've probably got about 50 grand savings. I'd say that's a point. And make sure you're in a career where you can get the job back if it doesn't work. I mean, because I might be full-time in a couple of years in advertising again, and try and have a side hustle so you wean yourself off. Like I freelance advertising even now, like a lot of my salary or some of my salary is freelance advertising. So don't quit right away. Try and do freelance, have some money in the bank, and make sure you've made like 50K in the market.
What's the amount of time? What's the amount of time?
Everybody's different. Like I know I'll never forget like Kyle. I always think is it Kyle Williams? Like
yep.
I always I try and compare myself to him. I'm not as good as him, but I know he had like he was not profitable for a couple of years, right? And then on his third year he made 40K. His fourth year he made like 100K, and now in his fifth year he's I don't paraphrase me on that, but he's making a lot more. So I would always say if you're full-time, it's quicker than if you're part-time. Depends on how much you work, how dedicated you are, how much you're willing to learn from your losses. But I probably did on average about 3 or 4 hours a day for about 3 years. And on the third-ish year, going into the fourth year, I got full-time. But it was about 4 hours a day for four years to get full-time, or three and a bit years.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I basically agree with everything Steven said. If you're single, okay. So that, you know, I mean, listen, there's you know, it's such a tough question to answer because it's so unique to your situation. Okay. Yeah. I mean, hell, if you're single and you got $1 million in the bank, quit today, you know, but if you've got a family and you've got $30,000 in credit card debt, you got years, got years before you're going to do it. So, I mean, that would be the biggest thing. Now I'm guessing a lot of listeners are going to be younger people that are maybe interested in this. I think Steven's advice was spot on.
Yeah.
Now, if you're an old man like me with a family, I say never.
An old man.
I say never go full time.
Yeah.
You know, again, unless you just have ridiculous results. I mean, listen, if you're an extreme outlier, you're probably not listening to this podcast. Okay. Yeah. I mean, now if you make $10 million next year, well, go full time. But my thing is, if you can make it work with your business, I did it for 8 years with my business. I made it work. Because the beauty of the business was I had health insurance. Okay. I mean, I had company, you know, it was my company, but the company supplied me health insurance. I had little kids. Okay. I had babies when I started. I had a wife, a stay-at-home wife. Okay. You know, you got to take into consideration these things. And if you've got a job with benefits, I say never go full time, because once you go full time, I mean, hey, if you're in the US and you got a family, day one, you got $2,000 in health insurance. Okay. Really? You know, you got, I mean, maybe things will change. I don't know, but I mean, it's thousands of dollars just in your health insurance. Okay.
Absolutely.
And then you got your other bills, and then say you get something unexpected. So that's why I always call trading the ultimate side hustle. That's what I love about it. Yeah. I mean, I loved it when I had a business that was profitable, doing well, that I didn't necessarily have to micromanage. I could trade, I could check in, I could trade, I could check in.
Yep.
Try and get yourself in that position, you know, or freelancing, like Steven said. You know, maybe if you've got other skills and you're building websites that gives you a consistent income, you know, or again, you've got, you know, maybe you've got, one of the coolest stories I thought from the pandemic, because I just appreciate this person's hustle, because I don't know if it was a guy or a girl, but when the shutdown happened, they were working like at Facebook, and the shutdown happens. They send their application to Google. They'd already been looking for jobs. Google hired him. I'm going to say him, whatever. Her, him, her. I got to go back and forth. But anyway, the story is they were working at Facebook and Google from home. Neither of them knew, and they were working like 60 hours a week, and they were pulling full-time income from both of them. That's the great thing about right now.
Wow.
Get yourself a job at Facebook working from home, and then and get your benefits and trade on the side.
That's amazing. So. Yeah. I think it's such good advice. I'm so glad that is what you're an advocate of, because most of all, especially new traders, I feel like they are so going to be prone to overtrade.
Well, and Stephen even made
side hustle.
It's like, Stephen made that point earlier, like with small businesses. I mean, it's like, how many people have that dream of like, I mean, hell, I think I had a dream of like opening a bar or a restaurant when I was like 25. I think like everyone has that dream, and so many fail, but I think that happens with trading a lot because people just have these unrealistic expectations of what it takes. Yeah. And if you got 1 or 2 green months and you're ditching that job, oh man, come on. So,
or the have to, like what I hear from some new traders are like, I have to make this work. This has to replace the XYZ job that's terrible. And I'm like, as soon as you're in the landscape of have to, you're already burdening your cognitive ability to, this is already so hard. And now you're putting extra pressure on yourself. How can that help your trading? It's going to hurt it, sabotage it.
I mean, if you, again, if you put yourself in that position, I mean, it's hard enough.
It's
man.
Hard enough.
Good luck. If you're like, your freaking mortgage statement's past due.
Exactly.
And you're sitting down to day trade today. It's like, good luck, man. So,
but I would honestly though, just say, I wouldn't be that, I'm more optimistic about it. Like, and maybe I'm naive, but I would just say
no, but you're in a different place here. I mean, listen, I got a wife and 2 kids. Even
that into account. I know other people, Papa John, Roland Wolf, got wife and tons of kids as well. But honestly, I would just say, I'd say 1% can do it. And whether you're that 1 in 100 or I can be that 1 in 100, I would say 1 in 100 will make it. 1 in 100 will do it. 5% can maybe do it part-time, but your 1% will make it. Think about there's several traders I can think with.
Yeah, but even Kyle took 3 years, like you just spoke to. Like, even though he's going to be one of those 1%ers, he couldn't in like 6 months just have probably quit his day job.
No. I'm not specifying a time period. I'm just saying over the course of 5 years with relentless effort and work and the right resources, if you do it slow enough, I mean, one in 100 will make it. I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Tim, what do you think? You don't agree?
To what point? Sorry.
To say that 1% of people with or without families will make it full time. Yeah. Doesn't matter.
But my retort is going to be, are you willing to put in the time and effort that it takes to be that 1%? Kyle did. Jack did. I mean, we've had Jack on the podcast twice. Basically, both those. It was like an hour of me fanboying over Jack's work ethic. I mean, that's all it was. I mean, if you've watched those episodes, you'll know. I'm just like this. I mean, he's just like, he didn't care about anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Except this.
Yes.
And if you are that, then I believe so. It's just most people aren't that, sucks. Someone, because of, I was doing all these live streams and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've done, every single day for like 6 months, and someone made some comment about Dave Goggins. I'm like, man, I ain't even like, just because I show up and talk about stocks every day, I'm not even in his freaking zip code. I mean, now could you be Dave Goggins? Stephen, Kim? Sure. Kim could be Courtney Dowalter, and Stephen could be, Dave Goggins and run 300 miles in 24 hours. But are you willing to put in the time and the work to do it? Probably not.
No thanks. No thanks.
Exactly. I don't want to run 200 miles in 24 hours. No thanks.
No thanks.
I've seen his feet when he gets done.
Oh, ouch. I'm out on the water trying to get better at paddling. And I was watching some YouTube videos, and one of the coaches we have this Shell, which is like the best, team in the world. And those guys train 14 hours. They have to paddle 14 hours a week. And, and have full-time jobs and go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, my coach is like, you want to get better, Kim? Like, she's telling me to watch these videos. I'm like, oh my God, 14 hours of paddling a week.
Well, but that's a great example though. It's like, you're not trying to be the 1% in paddleboarding.
It's true.
You enjoy it. It's a hobby,
Yep.
but
outrigger paddling, not paddleboarding.
I see you should do more than 14 hours.
I agree. So
no, but I don't know, guys. Like, I'm more optimistic about trading. I think more people can make it than that.
Yeah,
I think
you're optimistic, but you gave very practical advice. I don't feel you're saying neither of you are advocating you 3 months in, quit your day job and go full throttle. Like, neither one of you are saying that, which I think some people are saying.
Remember, my point, Stephen, is again, anyone can do it.
Yes.
It's just those people are fucking lazy, and I mean, my favorite, like when people will like, they're like, I'm so unlucky in trading, and they're they're bag holding, or they're short in the front side or stuff, and I always give them that same quote. I'm like, maybe you're unlucky, or maybe you're stupid and make bad decisions. Okay, there's a lot of people that are just stupid and make bad decisions, and they're lazy, and that's why only 1% make it.
All right.
Anyone can do it, especially right now. Anyone. So.
But let's talk also. I think one of the qualities that I just want to say, maybe ask yourself too before you quit your day job, is, do you feel you're very self-aware? Do you feel you're somebody who's been able to be hard to be with feelings that show up in life? How do you handle it when somebody who disagrees with your opinion or points something out you didn't see before? Do you handle that well, or do you freak out and get triggered? Because you're going to get triggered here all the time. So if you're not somebody who's done any work on yourself, not that self-aware, I would say start to engage in that kind of work, or read those books, or start to like hang out with people that have different opinions than you, just to see how you do as a little tester.
And I think you just got to love it. Like Steven.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I always, Steven's the same way. I mean, I always like I say this all the time. My least favorite part of the week is Friday night. Most people
panic. I panic. Yep. I think, I might get depressed. It's the weekend. Yep.
Same way,
man. Get depressed. Gonna have to do some meditations, do some running. Don't have the fix.
Because it's like, God damn it, not till Monday.
But I'm not lying, and you're not lying either. Like, I'm like, there's no market. Yeah, it's worrying. But one thing that has gone away over the years is, like, I can do an hour or 2 hours, and I'm like, like, say I did like 9-10 hours yesterday, like the markets are on fire, I did like 10 hours. I can do 4 hours today and be like, right, you know what, I'm walking away. Like, I've had me fixed, you know what I mean? I just can't go 48 hours without. It's a little bit like alcohol. If you go on a big bender, you think, I'll just have a few the next day, and then I might take the next day off. But you need it every day.
So I think we kind of covered everything. Again, I'm excited. And again, I know I maybe sounded a little pessimistic at points, but I love it. I love that you've got a supercomputer in your pocket. You've got unlimited access to information. The moves are, multi-day moves. We don't have the one and dones you used to have. I mean, and
I wish we did. I wish we did. Sorry for interrupting, but I have to for that.
But the thing is, and the beauty of it is if you can be patient, the short side there's never been a better time to short if you can just be patient. You just can't be that frontline guy, running in kamikaze style.
Exactly.
You got to sit there and you got to wait for that first red day. I mean, it's so wild to me. And listen, I'm not saying every first day red day short works, but I think Steve will agree with me. Your odds, you wait for that gap down, and then, you short into that gap down, and then you cover it red to green, and you keep doing that. And then one day you get a blink down 30% and you're like, boom, so.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, that setup just works so well, because if you think of the psychology of every day, someone's like, oh, I'm up more. Oh, I'm up more. Oh, I'm up more. Then all of a sudden they're like, whoa, today I'm down. I have too many, and obviously too many people in a row think that it's going to go down. Add the pressure of shorts hammering it. Like, obviously it's going to happen. But can I, before we all go, can I just get some predictions, some Thanksgiving predictions? Can we each say one thing that we're all grateful for in the spirit of Thanksgiving, because we'll not be recording. One thing that we're grateful for, and then predictions for the sectors for Bitcoin and the EV.
You go first, Kim.
Okay.
You're on the spot.
I'm grateful for the both of you guys. I love you guys. I tweeted something out yesterday. I really do. You guys have educated me in so much. You've been so patient with me. You make me laugh. You're like the brothers I've never had. So I really am thankful for the both of you very, very much. And I'm thinking that actually Bitcoin and EV have not seen the highs. They're going to go higher just in this market that we have. I think they'll both go up.
So, when it comes to thanks, I mean, it's like, I try and show gratitude every single day. But yeah, I mean, I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful for all the listeners. I talk about these live streams I do every day. I mean, we've got, I think, almost 5,000 people a day on those things. And there's so many positive comments, people looking to learn. And, I'm just, I'm thankful for the fact that we can do this type of stuff. The technology is amazing. I always tweet about the golden age. I mean, it's just, I think there's a lot bad in the world, but there's a lot amazing in the world. And I'm happy to be alive in 2020. I mean, it's I know the pandemic sucks. I know a lot of things suck. There's still, there's always going to be war. There's always going to be famine. There's always going to be poverty. But man, it's when you think about the access to information, technology, the markets, and being able to, I mean, again, how would I have ever met Stephen in Dubai or Kim in Hawaii?
That's right. So
I mean,
true.
It would have never happened. So, and then my predictions are, again, I think I've said it several times. I think Bitcoin got ahead of itself in 2017. I think 2021 is the year of Bitcoin. I think everyone should own some Bitcoin. Okay. I'm not saying you got to go mortgage your house, but if you've got $500, $1,000, I think you should own Bitcoin. I think you should have exposure to that. Just like you should probably own some gold. You should own some, if you have the means, you should own some real estate. You should be diversified. So I think it's finally time. I think Bitcoin got ahead of itself. And I mean, I'm just a huge fan of EVs anyway. I'm a nerd technology standpoint. I just wish somebody would come out with a truck.
Did you see? There is a truck. I should have sent it to you.
They're not, but nothing's shipping.
It's not shipping. Oh, okay. I'm so excited for you. I was like, ooh, he's got an electric truck to take over
the Rivian one is pretty cool.
Nikola.
I mean, then the Badger, the Nikola Badger was the coolest looking one, but that was all vaporware.
Exactly.
So, listen, I would have owned a Tesla 5 years ago. I just can't. A car doesn't work for me.
No,
I've got a dead deer in the back of my truck right now. I can't really. I got to get it over to the butcher later today. I mean, I can't really put that in the back seat of my P100D. Okay, yeah.
No.
So, or again, and I'm a handyman. I mean, that's not like I can strap a sheet of plywood to the roof of a Tesla. So I think it's the future. And I just think when you look at ride share and stuff like that. I think when you look at things changing in the world, I think especially if you're in the city, there's just going to be more and more autonomous driving. Those are all going to be EVs. It's just like, to me, EVs are like, it's like the personal computer. It's like you go back in the 80s and 1 out of 10 families had a computer.
It's true.
Now, my family, when you count smartphones, there's 4 of us and we have 10 computers. It's the same. So when you count phones, and then other things I think that are huge. Gaming is one of the big ones. I think sports, particularly professional sports, really kind of goofed up through the shutdown. And I think there's so many people that 30, 40-year-olds that grew up gaming and now they've got real money, they've got real careers. You look at the esports revolution. I mean, they're filling they were filling stadiums, but I think that's a big boom coming too. I would definitely keep an eye on that. And then anything just stay at home related, fitness. I mean, Peloton still, they can't build bikes fast enough. So Dow 40,000 by summer.
Wow.
I've had some short in MTC. I'm just watching that drop. I'm like, yes. Yes. took it at 11 off the VWAP rejection. I'm like, yes.
Oh, beautiful. Nice. Yeah.
All right. So you're thankful for that, but what are you thankful for beyond that?
No, like if I'm thankful for you guys, for the team, for StocksToTrade. I've been doing this podcast with you guys for about 3 years. Grateful for Sykes for letting us publish terrible trades for years and years in his name and just slumping his name in his blind faith that one day I'd make it. And Tim's letting me be on the podcast. I was a losing trader on this podcast for bloody ever. So I'm grateful for the blind faith and the confidence in me. And I'm grateful for me. Me mom has a very addictive personality. She's addicted. She gets hooked on like reading books, healthy things like reading books or playing ping pong. And that is transmitted into my DNA, and all my 3 brothers. I'm addicted ping pong.
She don't want none of me on that ping pong table. I'll tell you what.
I'll be playing you on Thanksgiving, but no, like somehow my family got like really addictive genetics. So like I'm addicted to game. I'm addicted to trading. My brother's addicted to business. He's got a good successful business, and my other brother was really addicted to like cancer research and studying biology and genetics. And we've all done really well because of this insane drive. So I'm just grateful for that. It's got me as far as I am now, my parents' bedroom. But
you're moving into your new place soon.
But I've got a new place, and that's super cool.
All right, your predictions for Bitcoin and EV.
I mean, I hate to say it because I don't want to give Tim anything, but the EVs are probably going higher. I don't think they're going higher right away. I think you're gonna see a couple of months of consolidation and then they'll just push off again. But I don't think they're like racing to get higher. But I don't think they're going back to the lows. Obviously, they'll be an above. They'll not go halfway. You'll get near the highs. They'll just be consolidating for a bit now. They've gone too far. And
Tesla just hit an all-time high just now. So.
Really?
Do you know when Tesla's moving market? What do you know the date? I can't believe that shit.
Soon, I don't know. Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah. So,
but like, I heard things about hedge funds hammering Tesla, saying it was overvalued. I heard from a lot of different people there was,
and again, and listen, I'm not trying to say I'm smarter than the hedge fund. I just my point is, and I've made this point for 2 years. How do you put a value on Elon Musk's brain? And when people say the market cap's too high, it's just like. How? I mean, it's freaking the dude's colonizing Mars. It's like the cars are, the cars are the most technologically advanced thing ever. He's doing that Starlink thing. I mean, you're probably a year from now, you're probably going to begin getting your internet from Tesla. It's like, it's just, I don't know how. It's like Apple. It's like 20. It's like Steve Jobs. I mean, it's like, how do you say, or Bill Gates, Microsoft? Okay.
Yep.
I'm sure in like 1982,
Absolutely.
People were like, "Oh, Microsoft's overvalued," and in late 80s. Obviously Apple went through the rough times, but I mean, overvalued. Okay.
Amazon. Look at Amazon.
Not
even profitable for how many years?
And now who's the richest man in the world? Yeah.
Yep.
So So.
Well, Elon Musk, actually, that's the richest man.
Number 2. He's number 2. Yeah,
Is it? I don't think so. I think he just
I think he just went to number 2, but don't quote me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
I've maybe he went above Bill Gates. So you're right. You're number 2, but not somebody maybe to undervalue.
Yeah.
Or say it's overvalued.
That's my point.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you. So we're all gonna have a great Thanksgiving. Well, Stephen, what are you going to do? Because you don't really celebrate Thanksgiving.
Probably, I don't know. Probably just study stock charts because I've got nothing to do.
Okay.
Go on Tinder.
Well,
Have some
God.
cans of Stella, stuff like that.
Cans. No, beer
Totally.
should never be in a can. It should always be in a bottle. Come on. What are you
Nah,
watching,
I don't know.
Bunker?
It's not
Come
a
on.
holiday for me. I'm trying to lose weight so I can get fat again over Christmas.
Okay. All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving, Tim. And to
Thank
everybody.
you. Happy Thanksgiving
guys.
to everyone out there. And this episode will come out after Thanksgiving, but you have our well wishes for the holiday. So as always, I would like to thank everyone for listening. Always go over to SteadyTrade.com. Anything we mention, we link there. You can get links to, whether it's Spotify, anywhere you listen. That's the best place to go to get access to everything. And, hey, share with your friends. We would love to see this continue to grow. We every month we get a little bit bigger, and it's fun. It's we really enjoy it. So share with your friends. Head over to SteadyTrade.com, and we will see you next time.